Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a weekly podcast focusing on e-commerce topics featuring interviews with prominent people in the e-commerce space.
This is E-Commerce Conversations by Practical E-Commerce. I'm Kerry Murdoch. Nearly every e-commerce merchant who uses product videos reports that it increases sales. But there are disagreements as to what to include in a product video, how to produce it, and where to show it. Invodo is a company that specializes in assisting merchants with product videos, and its CEO, Craig Wax, is here to help us sort through the video issues that merchants face. Well, Craig, thank you for your time today.
I'm happy to be speaking with you, Kerry.
Craig, Invodo is a video company, and there's certainly increased interest in video from e-commerce merchants. My question for you is, does video help every product that an e-commerce merchant may sell?
It really does. I mean, all consumers benefit from having products explained to them or demonstrated, and the degree to which the benefit is going to come through depends a lot on the product and the category. So if it's a product that's complex and has a lot of features, it might benefit more than a product that is fairly basic. But if you think about it, the experience that a consumer has online is not that different from the experience they have or hope to have when they're in a store, which is they're able to see the product, handle it, and get a sense for it. And to that extent, video really helps bring that same in-store experience to shoppers online.
So what if it's a commodity type product? What if it's like copy paper?
A product like copy paper may not benefit as much from a video as a copier. And so I think you always have to use some judgment. But if there are some unique characteristics about copy paper, maybe its weight or the type of printer that it can go through, and you feel that can be best conveyed through a video, then absolutely. You can't really rely on a consumer to read through all those types of details, and some of them might be complex if somebody's really wanting to understand sort of the details below the surface of copy paper. So again, I think any product can really benefit from a video.
Our listeners, Craig, as you know, are e-commerce merchants, and mainly smaller e-commerce merchants. For those that are contemplating video or that are already producing video, certainly you're a video expert, is there must-have content for them? I mean, should every video always include, for example, the price, the brand, and a description of the product? What are your thoughts there?
Sure. Well, the main thing is to focus on the product itself, certainly more so than the presenter. And as you're talking about the product, you have to think about it from the customer's perspective. What they want to know is this product really for me? And so you should always convey in a very fact-based way what the features and benefits are of the product and who the product is for. And if it is a product that maybe is geared towards a beginner, if it's, say, a tennis racket, then let the person know that. And so those are things that I think are standard across all products and should really be included. You know, one of the things that you mentioned was price, and I'd recommend not putting price into your video for a variety of reasons. First of all, different retailers sell the same product at different prices, and then those prices also tend to change. And so if there's information that is going to be dynamic in nature, sometimes it's best to leave that out.
What about production type issues? That's my term, production type issues for merchants that are assembling video. And I'm thinking like length of the video, the physical distance they're standing from the camera, the use of a script or talking extemporaneously. What are your thoughts on those points?
Well, there are a number of things to take into consideration across the range of topics that you just asked about. First of all, with regard to length, it really depends on the category and the product within the category. So certain products will lend themselves to longer videos, and an example of that might be a highly complex GPS system where you want to demonstrate the range of features that it has, and you might want to show the screenshots and how to go through the navigation. On the flip side, it might be something like a pair of shoes where what the consumer really wants to have a sense for is how do the shoes look, maybe what they're made of, and what would they look like on a model's foot with a pair of jeans or a skirt, depending upon the type of shoe. And that type of video is going to be significantly shorter than the former one. But the key is to think about what does a consumer really need to know and not worry so much about length, because if you're providing valuable information, then the consumer will listen. Because you have to remember that at this point in time where the consumer is actually watching the video, they're pretty far down the purchase cycle. And as a result, they're invested and they're trying to gather information to help them make a key decision. And so if you're providing them valuable information, they're likely to stay with it.
Is there a maximum length? Is there a length that you would suggest not exceeding for a product video?
You know, there are a lot of differences in thought on this topic. You know, I think that once you get to the 3 to 4 minute range, you're starting to get to the point where you may want to stop there. But an example of a product where you might want to go on for longer is an internet-enabled TV. So these are new products on the market. They are very different depending upon the brand and what services will come with a particular brand and how to hook it up. And for those types of products, you may want to go beyond 3 to 4 minutes. And again, it really depends. And you know, one of the things that we can do at Invodo is keep track of how long consumers are watching video for. And over time, we'll build up, or we are building up a base of knowledge. They'll be able to provide feedback back to specific manufacturers as to kind of what point you don't want to go beyond. But again, it really depends on the product and the information you have to convey.
What about the use of a script?
Yeah, sure. That's a really good question as it comes to scripting. And it really comes down to the presenter. What we've seen is that typically the videos come across more effectively if there is a script. And that's because if the person in front of the camera is a product manager or salesperson, they're generally not that comfortable being in front of a camera. And so having a script there becomes a way to really convey all the information that you want to get across. Now, if the person is very, very familiar with the product and also very comfortable being in front of a camera, then in those instances you can probably go without a script because it allows the person to be more natural. And one of the key things for any presenter is to come across as very authentic and credible. Consumers at this stage for this type of video do not want to feel like they're being sold to. They want to be educated. And so credibility is the most important thing, as well as just a clear, concise delivery of the information. And so if the script is going to help somebody achieve those objectives, then I'd say have a script. And if you have a unique person who's very good just speaking extemporaneously, then that type of person would not need a script.
Let's talk for a sec, Craig, about production quality. We've heard two school of thoughts on production quality here. School of thought number one is quality doesn't much matter in terms of increasing conversion rates. The important thing is just to do it, so to speak. You can use an inexpensive camera, basic lighting, etc. We've also heard people argue that it makes a big difference, and that merchants need to be very careful about the equipment they use and the lighting they use. So, for again our listeners, smaller merchants for the most part, what would you suggest to them in terms of production quality for their videos?
Well, I think production quality is very important because the quality of your video is a reflection on your product, and it's a reflection on your company. And I think when you're looking at a video that's well produced, it gives the consumer additional confidence in the product and the company that sells it. And I think lighting, not only from making the consumer feel comfortable standpoint is important, but a lot of products don't come across well in video, so you can't really see what you want to see if it's not well lit. So I don't think you can underestimate the importance of production quality. I think it's also important to distinguish production quality in terms of lighting and the quality of the presenter and the information conveyed, with the flashy bells and whistles that start to bleed into videos that are more like television commercials. And those types of things I think are important to keep out of the production.
Are merchants capable of doing quality videos, do you think, themselves?
Well, some merchants are, but it's going to take a significant investment in equipment as well as time to learn how to do it. And it's hard to really scale up and shoot a significant number of videos on your own. And then you have the whole issues around dealing with editing as well as distributing that to retailers and anywhere else you'd want the video to be seen. And so what we've found is that it's much more efficient, both in terms of time, quality, and cost, to work with a company like Invodo, who has developed systems to really produce high-quality video at scale in a very cost-efficient way.
You mentioned distribution there. Let's talk about that for a sec. Should a merchant try to syndicate or distribute the video across multiple channels?
Well, I think that once you've produced the video, the key is to get it in as many places as you can as a consumer wants to see it. And so distribution is really important. Now, with respect to who should do that, it really depends, again, on your expertise. And one of the things that Invodo has done is developed systems to be able to push video out not only to retailer sites but also to social networking sites and sites like YouTube and so forth. And that again, saves the merchant quite a bit of time. The other thing to take into consideration if you're going to distribute your video is what impact that might have on the SEO impact that unique content can bring back to your own site. So what we recommend is that if you're shooting unique video for your site, and if you have video on your site, you're 53 times more likely to show up on the first page of Google, according to one study, that if you take your video and then start putting it on YouTube and other places, you're diluting the impact of the SEO benefit to your own site. And so what we do for our customers is we'll create a second version of your video that's different for pushing out to places like YouTube and so forth in order to maintain the SEO value back to your own site.
I'm curious on the metrics, if you're aware of metrics on YouTube for e-commerce merchants. And again, harking back to my earlier example of a merchant that may sell commodity-type products. Are YouTube visitors going to look at a commodity-type product video?
Well, one of the things to keep in mind is that people are watching billions and billions of videos on YouTube, and that's across a lot of people. And so while commodity products might not be the most sought-after videos on YouTube, they are being viewed. And so we've put a couple thousand of the videos that we've shot for various manufacturers up on YouTube, and we're generating over 300,000 views a month just for that small number of videos that we push out from our library.
Craig, you're the CEO of a leading video production company, Invodo. Tell us about that. What services do you provide? How much do they cost?
Well, Invodo is a full-service e-commerce video solution company, and that means that we are working with our customers to drive conversion, get some SEO benefit, and reduce the returns from the consumers who do buy their products. And we do that by really focusing on three key elements of the video process. And those three elements are creating the content, providing a video platform, and then distributing the video to where consumers want to see it. And that's truly what differentiates us. Most companies will focus on one, maybe two of those areas. We really do all three at scale, which is what allows us to do video production at a very reasonable cost. The cost really varies based on the services that you take from us, whether it's just production or we can do script writing and find talent for you if that's what you want, as well as the number of products that you want to shoot. Yeah. If somebody wanted to do one day of video production with us, that typically would cost around $3,000. And for the cost of $3,000, we'll shoot as many of your products as we can get done in a day, and that would also include all the editing.
Anything else on your mind for our listeners?
Over 30% of online retailers are planning to implement video this year. And so we think that video is going to be a very important factor for retailers to have in order to compete against other retailers that are online. And getting in the game with video a little bit can be fairly easy, but doing it at scale can be very difficult, and that's really where we'd like to help.
Well, for purposes of our listeners, Craig's company, the CEO of Invodo, and that site is Invodo.com. I'm going to spell that. That's I, N as in Nancy, V as in Victor, O, D as in David, O, Invodo.com. And Craig Wax, the CEO of Invodo, we want to thank you for your time today, sir.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for this week's e-commerce conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in next week for another new episode.